Friends, here we are, back at it again, my friends. It is I, Bo Miles, and what we're going to be doing is just pumping out content for this artistry of podcast channel. That way, let's just try to grow it. Right now, as of today, we have 5 subscribers. So, Rico, you know what to do. Rico, you know what to do. Yes, sir. So, we saw Avatar 2, and I liked it. So I'm not going to be dropping spoilers in this quick review. This isn't going like super in depth, but just my overall idea and impression of the movie is I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, for me, it was like popcorn or candy, right? Because popcorn, I think, is kind of good for you. Which I think this movie, it was tackling some tough issues, right? It tackled some tough issues. Had a lot to do with family. It and the Scullys, I think that's their name, right? Jake Scully, and I guess the whole clan, right? He has a family in this, him and this girl. So they got his alien love. They got a family, and the humans come back, right? So they got to move on, and that leads them to a new colony. And so now we just have to learn some new lessons as joining a new colony and being an outsider, right? So being new again. And it was good. Like, all right, it was 3 hours. My man Brendan Shizab, he was like, he was out after an hour. He had to check out, right? But that's only because he had Lil Man with him. But all in all, like, I feel like the 3 hour time, it was good. It was solid. It was 3 hours and maybe 3 hours and 20 minutes. It was some moments in there where the skin on the I don't even know if they even have a name for the race, for like who they are as a species. I don't know the name, but there was moments in there where the skin just looked good. Like, it didn't look like CGI, right? The movie, unless like when the humans were in there, that's what made it kind of feel like, okay, this isn't a CG movie. Where I feel like the first one, it just had enough of a blend between human and natives, right? Because we're on their land, we're the aliens in this movie, so it had just the right amount to where it worked, far as feeling like you was in this world, right? This one, because it's more focused on the world and really not that many humans in it, to me it just felt like a CGI movie, which is not bad. Like, it was still good, but like I said, it didn't feel real to me. It didn't. But there were moments when they were like up on the skin and certain lighting on the indigenous people, right? And it was like, like it looked good. It looked really good. It didn't look like CGI, and that just made me think, like, it's so much more that can be done, and that will be done, right? Who knows how long it took for this thing to render down the pipeline, which I know back in 2000, whenever the first one came out, I'm sure it took a long time to render, right, to get through the pipeline. So all in all, like, I recommend the movie. I'm gonna buy it when it comes on to home theater. I'm definitely gonna buy it, and then I'm gonna watch the first one and then watch the second one. So because I couldn't tell any like difference as far as, this is drastically better. But the water, all of it, man, the movie was good. It was just a good movie. Yeah, people, they're gonna have their gripes far as like story development. I'm not gonna, I liked the story. I just liked it. I just enjoyed the whole experience. So definitely I recommend it. So if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you guys check out Avatar 2. We got some stuff, some questions, or like just some ideas that came about from watching this movie that really stuck out to me. And the first one is, do we need a heaven or an afterlife? And this isn't a spoiler because even in the first one, right? So we can just really just kind of speak on the first one, but it still relates to part two as well. But there's moments where I think the girl, the main avatar, the female, right? Maybe her dad dies, or I know Sigourney Weaver character in the first one, she takes some critical hits, right? But there are moments where they return the life back to the spirit, and they're really in touch with this spirit entity, and they gave it a name, and it goes back, right? So when you die in this world, if you're of the world, even when humans die, they can give them and present them to this overall spirit, right? And it just brings up the question, because there is a sense of calmness. There is a sense of it's gonna be okay, right? And for humans, like, do we need that? Like, do we need a heaven or an afterlife? I found it very comforting. I felt it very comforting to know that you will be with your loved ones after this stage of the game, right? So for me personally, I find it very comforting to know that, right? And we can see it in other, like, just mythology and just throughout human history. This sense where we want it to be more, right? We don't want the game to end. We want to keep going, right? Life wants more life. Life wants to live. Life wants to explore. That's just my human interpretation of it. But just seeing it in this movie and how they're dealing with it, it just kind of brought it into the forefront of my mind. Like, yo, is it important? Because more and more people are moving away from religion and faith-based thinking and concepts. You get more and more people moving away. So I just wonder, okay, how does that inflect, or I can't say but impact? How does that impact culture, large scale culture, if a whole government and a whole group of people believe that, all right, once it's over, it's over? Does it have a negative effect, right? Because you can think of an atheist, whoever atheists are out there, and it's not like they're just bad people. Oh, because I don't believe in an afterlife, which I don't know. Like, I don't know if they don't believe in an afterlife. I would just assume, right? So because I don't believe in an afterlife, then I'm just going to be bad, right? And that's not the case. So I wonder what type of large scale effects would that have? Because when I just look at a kid, very little, if no adult has told them about God and told them about higher powers, would they even think about it? Would they think, oh, there's a God, right? So at some point, God is introduced, and then it's disseminated amongst the people. Now, everyone is believing, right? Of course, yes, I do believe that is a form of control, but but I think of it as not created to be a form of control. I think that I would like to believe that somewhere in us, just when we look at these movies, somewhere in us, that longing for a God is in us, is inside of us, right? But I don't know if a child, I don't know if they would think of that. I don't know that a child would eventually say there is a God, but maybe because people are curious, right? So eventually when the child becomes an adolescent, they become adults and they start to just question, where do I come from, right? So I mean, just following that track, maybe that's it. All right, I don't know if that's it, but but maybe, right? Maybe that's it. What are your thoughts on it? How do you guys feel about, do we need it? Is it a part of all of us? Because some people believe and some people don't. So just not attacking each other. Just what do you think about it, right? So go ahead and drop a comment on that. If you like. Another thing that that came up in the Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, was for me the family, right? And it was very, just their family unit. It was very inspiring. It was something to long for, right? Like who wouldn't want to have a family like the Scullys over on Pandora, right? Who wouldn't want to have a family like that? But we know just in reality, right? So for the story to push the story along, it has to be this certain way. And then the age and just the youth and all of that stuff, it has to be a certain age bracket. And, they're just writing this stuff. So everything falls into place and stays synced, right? For the window that we're exploring in this. But in today's time, it seems like, and this is just, I don't know how tapped in I am, but from my perspective, it just seems like friends are more valued than family, right? And this is just cultural thing, as far as just in I would say, I don't know if it's Black American family or Black American culture, or if it's just popular culture. I'm not really sure, but just from my perspective, it seems like as people get older, as children get older, and they start to step out on their own, and they start to examine and say, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. This is how I do it. This is how I see it. I feel like just a general pull is away from the family, and I get it. You have to fly, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and become an adult and become a man or a woman, or you have to do that. So I get that, but in this movie, like, who wouldn't long for a family, for a close family, right? Where everyone is close and everyone is in harmony, and the environment is also pushing, hey, we need to be a family. Because in Pandora, you needed your clan. You needed to be a part of a clan. You couldn't just be by yourself. So you needed to be a part of a clan. You needed to be a part of a tribe. Everyone needed to be. It wasn't just, okay, Gary's a part of the tribe, and Derek over there, who knows what tribe he's a part of. It's like 90 tribes, 11 tribes. Nah, it wasn't like that. It was one tribe. Okay, we are the forest people. Then you got another tribe, we're the forest people, right? So it seems like as humans, as we get into these larger cities, then the emphasis on family is not as strong from the community. Whereas, if you're in a smaller community, then the emphasis on the whole community as a whole to thrive, I think, is stronger, right? So Avatar 2 definitely, brought up that, and it was like, yo, like yeah, I want that, right? So it was so many things that they put in this movie that I feel like that's why people want to go. That's why people want to live in a world like that, because it was like, yo, it was real focused and on family, right? What else we got? We have the alien love, right? Now, those that species, Like, yo, and of course, they were created by, man, as far as the way they look, right? So they were created to be appealing to humans, right? So when you watch this, just like cartoons, when you see any female character, right? Minnie Mouse, or I'm trying to think of the skunk, like the female skunk. Like, so you got Pepe Le Pew and then his girlfriend, right? Or his love interest. So anytime they put females in type of movies and shows and things of that nature, you get, because humans are drawing, they're going to draw with an attractive, like a universal attractive feature to them, right? So now you have this with the aliens. So because humans drew and created these aliens, or the indigenous, and it's crazy only because we're so used to saying what is alien, right? But we are the aliens, right? We're not from Pandora, and we're invading, which is good. Like, that was just a good concept, right? But because they are attractive, because they were created, to be attractive to humans. Now, in a real sense of that, you got Jake as a human, and he is, he's has an attraction to this species, this different species, and it just makes you think, like what is that? Like what is that? Like, yo, I mean, it's really weird, because in real life, I mean, I don't know, because I don't see other species as being attractive, right? I don't see dogs and skunks and other female creatures, chimps, gorillas, like, yo, I don't see any of them being sexually attractive, right? But we know that some humans do. But that's the question. Do they truly see them as being sexually attractive, or is it something else? Right? And because I don't, I don't know. I don't look at another species and see sexual attractiveness. I can't really answer. I can't say that they do. I can't say that they don't. Like, that's one of the things that I'm learning, just as our culture is shifting to looking at things more of a spectrum, right? So you have the polar opposites of a spectrum. This is this is that, and then on the other end you have the reverse, right? No, this is this and this is that, and things all come together and move across the spectrum. So you can have different things all over. So just because I don't see other species in like reality, and in reality, I don't see other species sexually attractive, that doesn't mean that every human doesn't see it, right? So that's something that I just can't assume, right? And it's just it's very interesting, because we know that there were other species of humans, like real, not just race, but other humanoid species. Like, we know that there was others, right? Like, we know that, but yet they're gone. We're here. And when you look at some people, and this is something that I noticed, like, just when you look at some people, they kind of look like the recreations of some of those species, right? Some of those other humanoid species. When you look at people, so you can kind of see that, like, yo, there was some mixing there, whether it was force, or it was mutual, right? That I don't know, but we know that humans are like, yo, man, we some wild boys. Like, yo man, we some wild boys, okay? Like, nothing's safe around humans. Okay, nothing's safe. And is that to is that something within to get us to the evolution, right? I mean, it has to be, because it's something that it's these urges, right, that drive evolution. So just from a technological standpoint, we have wants. Okay, we want this, but another thing that's really pushing technological advance is money, right? If there was no money in any of this stuff, anything that's tech related and circuit board related, if it was no money in it, then it would not evolve at all. Like, we have this idea, oh, AI this and AI that and all of this stuff, but the backbone of all of that is money. Once you take away the money from that, if that stuff is no longer making money, then it will cease to exist. The only reason why it exists is because of money, right? The only reason why this stuff exists is because of money. Because without money, then the focus is somewhere else, right? So it has the advantage of being backed by money. But human creation and procreation, we talk about procreation, that's not being backed by money. That's being backed by something that we're just, it's too far back in the code. We don't even know what it is, right? But we can only assume that, okay, hey, it's whatever, right? So that was very interesting just to see, because here you have a human guy, right? And you got this beautiful creature, and there, he's trying to infiltrate, and we're just talking about the first one. He's trying to infiltrate. He's trying to learn the ways of the I think they're called Navi, right? He's trying to learn the ways of the Navi species, or that might be their tribe, right? The Navi tribe. He's trying to learn their ways, right? So you have these type of things that's going on, and it's like, okay, all right, that's cool, right? And like I said, she's already attractive. He's in the body of this, blue creature thing, right? He's in there, and one thing lead to another. And man, there's a song about the birds and the bees, or I can't even think of it. It's a nice jazz song. I had to get back on my jazz. Okay, you did. But boom, right? You had this connection, and then it goes outside of that connection, right? When she actually goes to see him in the final act of, we're talking about just part one, goes to see him in the final act to save him, his human form, and she gets to see his human form, and it's like, yeah, like, yo, I love you for who you are, right? So those are definitely, just those are some good topics, just some good things to really focus on, just as it pertains to human, and like, yo, what is love? Like what are we really looking for and searching for? Because a lot of times it just gets drowned out by the noise, right? So, like, what do you guys think? What are some of the thoughts that you have on not just would you date an alien if you could go to Pandora? Would you date an alien? Like, 9 times out of 10 you would, right? But that's only because, and like, look, they look just like that. Nothing's different, right? So a lot of times you would, but then that's like, yo, but really, what's going on? What's going on? And with just ending on that, right? I would, at some point while I'm watching this, like I said, the skin and all the texture and everything was all good. It just looked really good. It looked really good. It looked real, right? And it made me think, like, yo, man, they could do some good horror movies with this level of CG, right? Because right now with CG and movies, there's a disconnect. It just looked kind of cheesy. It's like, right? Everything was all scary, like the normal jump scares okay, look, we have a perception. Let's pull a camera tight on your subject so where you can't see the whole surrounding, even though if it was in reality, the subject could see all of this stuff. The subject would be able to see through their peripheral to the left or to the right? Like there wouldn't be no jump scare, but the way they do it for us, and they just kind of make things real tight, and we can't see, right? So just playing with the unknown, right? And then so you have all of that stuff is going well, and then you have the monster or whatever you want to call it, the villain, the antagonist, and just depending on the CGI, it can pull you straight out of that, right? So then it's like, man, just regular effects should be better, right? But I think what we saw in Avatar 2, far as that skin, man, like I said, there's only certain moments with the lighting and everything, but it just looked real. Like it looked good. Like it looked good. So that was more of like a I feel like that is to come, far as as it gets better. I think movies are going to start to blend CG and real effects, and it's going to get to the point to where you don't know what is real and what is CG, right? So we're definitely on the right path of that. But because of that, right? Because of that, the skin looks so real in that world, right? Some certain parts of it, it just made you think like, yo, what do they smell like? Okay? Like, yo, what do these indigenous species, Pandora, like how does Pandora smell? All right? The texture of the skin, I don't know. With the water tribe, I don't know if they were more like fish-like. So would they smell like dolphins? Would the giant, our standard avatars, which they're not avatars, but what do they smell like, right? Here, let's check this temperature. All right, temperature rise. I guess that's just over the temps to rise tomorrow. All right. So it might. I don't know if it's gonna get good or bad, but it had like an exclamation mark. So I don't know if it's gonna be just too hot or what. Who knows, right? But but that's something that I thought about, because the skin looked that good. The skin looked that good to where I thought, what do they smell like? All right. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think it's more like it's two types. We got the water type, and then we have the regular. They're in the forest, So look, it goes down in the DM. All right. So look. We're gonna be pumping out more content like this where on this channel, and we're gonna have our weekly uploads. Plus, you can get this wherever you listen to your podcasts. Not this episode, but the artistry of episodes, podcast episodes. So definitely, if you haven't, check out the podcast. We've been running a podcast for some years now. I don't know if it's like 5 years or 6 or 7 years, but I do know that I took like a year or two. I might have took like 2 years off and just didn't upload any episodes from going from once a week. So I definitely, if you like this type of content, you like what I'm saying, you like any of this stuff, definitely check out the links. I'll have the podcast links. I have the podcast links down there for Stitcher and Apple. Now I wasn't able to find it on Spotify, so I'm gonna have to check with my distributor and see like, yo, what's up with Spotify, right? So that way, some of you guys might, you might want to listen to your podcast on Spotify. So with that being said, bring it in.
Makes up the